Welcome to the Lab Interface Workflow video for Prognosis. In this video, we'll cover how to place electronic lab orders, review incoming results, and troubleshoot common issues. To begin, log into Prognosis and access the lab order screen for your patient. You can reach this screen in three ways: from the patient, encounter, lab, order menu; from the patient's chart, without an open encounter, where the patient band appears in yellow; and through the CPOE, lab, order section. Let's walk through the layout of the lab order screen and create a lab order for an interfaced vendor. In the top left corner, you'll find the Add button. Click this to open a blank lab order. To retrieve existing orders, use the search icon. Within the lab header, you'll find the essential order identifiers. The order number is initially blank and auto-generates when the order is created and saved. The order status is initially set to entered and updates once the order is saved. The order date defaults to the encounter date but can be modified using the calendar icon. The results by date indicates when the test results are expected. Ordering provider auto-populates based on who is logged in. If a provider is logged in, their name is displayed. For other users, it defaults to the encounter's attending provider. You can also change it by selecting the appropriate provider using the search button. The patient's name, date of birth, and gender are displayed below the ordering provider field. The location displays the site from where the lab order is initiated and defaults to the appointment location. Just below the order details is the lab selection section. Select the lab vendor you have an interface with using the search menu. You can also configure it to display as the default vendor. Once selected, the lab's address details appear to the right of the lab name. Select the urgency level from the type drop-down, which displays four options: routine, now, stat, or scheduled. Specify the sample type as either office or patient service center, depending on where the sample is being collected. The lab's account number auto-populates here based on what was configured during implementation. The bill type defaults to the option configured during the vendor setup, but you can manually choose from client, patient, or third party, as needed. Note that the sample, account number, and bill type fields are mandatory for e-lab orders and should automatically default based on your vendor setup. To add lab tests, click the Add button in the Test section of the main order area. This opens a pop-up where you can choose from preferred tests, all tests, or order sets. Preferred tests are shown by default for quick selection. You can switch to all tests for a complete list, or select from order sets configured in the Order Set Master, which allow you to add multiple tests with a single selection. For this demonstration, we'll select 17 ketosteroids urine and use the CMP with immune workup order set to add 3 additional tests. If you need to remove any of the added tests, simply click the delete icon to the left of the respective test name. Next, ensure the appropriate ICD codes are associated with each test. You can configure property settings to automatically assign assessment ICD codes, or manually add new codes using the Add button. This opens the Diagnosis Codes pop-up, where you can search by description or code and select the required ICDs. After selection, you'll be prompted to add the ICD to the assessment. Click Yes to add it to the assessment, or No to use it only for this order. Once done, return to the ICD code search to deselect any irrelevant codes and assign the correct ones. Proceed to update the collection date and time fields to indicate that samples have been collected. You can do this for each test individually by entering it manually, or click the Now icon to timestamp the collection. Or, save the order, and then use the collection icon to apply a timestamp to all tests at once by selecting all collection date and time. Enter any test-specific comments within the Sample Specs button, or special instructions within the Comments button at the top, such as lab-specific notes, internal comments, or report remarks. Additionally, at the top right of the screen, you'll find a patient info icon to view patient demographics, and a label printer icon to print specimen labels. A Required Data button is also present to enter additional test-specific information, if required by the lab, which enables with a red star once the order is saved. Click the icon, fill in the required fields in the pop-up, click Save, then Close. You can also view the patient's appointment history through the Appointment History button. Once all details have been added, save the order via the Save button. After saving the order number is generated and displayed, and the order status changes to Approved. At the top right of the screen, you'll find buttons to preview the requisition, and print, fax, or e-send the order electronically to the lab, along with navigation arrows to move between lab orders. Once all information is verified, click the eSend button to transmit the order. Upon successful transmission, the system displays a confirmation message, and the order status updates from Approved to Ordered eSent. Now, let's move on to managing incoming lab results. Once the lab order is eSent, the lab processes it and sends the results electronically to the clinic. These results are automatically received in Prognosis through the HL7 interface. You can access lab results from within the encounter by selecting Lab Results from the Encounter TOC, or from the navigation bar by choosing CPOE, Lab Results. Use the search pop-up to identify the patient and open their results. Lab results may appear in two forms: structured or discrete data under the Results tab, such as numeric values, minimum or maximum ranges, or positive or negative results; or unstructured data under the Attach tab, such as faxes or scan documents, or a diagnostic report that includes the results. The order status will appear as results received, and an HL7 hyperlink opens a pop-up displaying the HL7 file details, confirming that the results were received electronically. In the example shown, various tests have the abnormal checkbox selected and highlighted in red, indicating an abnormal value. This would trigger an abnormal alert in the doctor's inbox if appropriate supported events have been set up. When reviewing the lab result, the provider can take immediate action by clicking the Action button. This opens the Assign Task pop-up, where follow-up tasks can be assigned to medical assistants, or nurses, or other staff by selecting either users or roles. For instance, the doctor may request the assistant to schedule an appointment due to the severity of the abnormal result. Additional comments can be added, and the doctor can mark the results as reviewed and update the patient's record. Once the review is complete, the order status is updated to Complete and Reviewed. With that, you've completed the lab result workflow. Now, let's look at how to troubleshoot errors in case a result fails to import. If you're using an interface, it's important to monitor for any failed result imports using the import log. This ensures that no lab results are missed. Navigate to Settings, Configuration, and under the Admin column, click Import Log. Once you're on this screen, check the Failure section. Any failed transmissions must be manually reconciled with the correct patient record. To do this, double-click the failed entry to open the HL7 message pop-up. Identify the patient who the lab result belongs to, and with the Patient Radio button selected, click the search icon. Select the patient from the list, and then click OK. The order is now successfully linked to the patient, and the results are accessible on the lab results screen. This completes the lab workflow in Prognosis, from sending lab orders and managing incoming results to troubleshooting interface errors and ensuring no result is missed. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or need more help, please reach out to the Prognosis support team at support@bismaticsinc.com.